If the money is right, I mean,
$100 million. I heard Turkey offered you a big money already.
150.
150.
He made Terence Crawford and Modern know of what happened, and now he has made Canelo Alvarez accept Crawford's fight.
Is Canelo Alvarez the fight you want next?
Well, you know what I say. If the money's right, we gotta fight. But at the same time, you know, he gotta fight.
Now that Alalshikh has pushed Canelo, we may finally get the fight we wanted. Now it's no secret that after hearing Alalshikh talk after Crawford's win against Madrimov, everyone was happy with the guarantee that came with his words.
Shout out to Turkey. Happy birthday. Yeah. I hope you had a good birthday. You know, we put on, I appreciate you.
And now, as it has been publicly put, Canelo Alvarez will face off against Terence Crawford. This highly anticipated match comes after Crawford's recent win over Israel Madrimov, a fight that left most fans on the edge of their seats. Boxing power broker Turkey has played a big role in making this mega match happen, putting public pressure on Canelo to commit to the fight.
A fight for you, but an event. Can you talk to us about that?
Well, you know, it's politics. Politics was blocking me.
Alalshikh was ringside for Crawford's win over Madero, and he saw personally the determination and skill that Crawford brought to the ring despite leading on the scorecards and earning a unanimous decision. Crawford had to work hard for his win. This performance left some wondering if he was truly ready to leap into a fight against Canelo at super middleweight, especially after fighting Madov.
Have you enjoyed this so far?
So much. Of course, so much.
However, Alalshikh was not shaken an hour before Crawford's fight with Madrimov. He sent a powerful message to Canelo. This news was broadcast on DA and PPVPV.com. ESPN Plus and Prime Video reach millions of fighting fans around the world.
Let me tell you what the real fight is. It's not Crawford and Canelo. It's Canelo versus Allalshikh.
Alalshikh's message was clear and straightforward. If he's smart, he'll accept these words. These words brought pressure to Canelo, and well, it finally paid. Not even Canelo himself wants to be seen as not smart. Sure, that view was there when he took Berlanga and instead of Benavides, but now he seems to be coming back to his senses. Well, at least to most of his fans.
I think, you know, Berlanga doesn't have the experience that Canelo has. So I think it's a fight where he has to bring it to Canelo.
As the fight night continued, it became clear that Crawford's performance, while hard-fought, was not enough to discourage the plans for the super middleweight bout. Instead, it added fuel to the fire in increasing the anticipation for the upcoming fight. Crawford showed grit and resilience against Madrimov, qualities that will be important when he steps into the ring with Canelo.
Canelo fight, you know, realistically left your mind once he said he's not interested, or you still pursuing it?
Not at all. You know, I think business.
And now the choice has been made, and the fight is on. The fight between Canelo and Crawford promises to be one of the most exciting in recent fighting. Crawford, known for his tactical skill and tenacity, will face Canelo, and fans are already debating who will come out on top, with each boxer bringing their unique strengths to the ring.
I mean, I wouldn't think that Canelo watched Crawford on Saturday and was afraid of fighting him at 68. I think for Canelo, it's more about the credibility he gets through victory.
While all this is on the table, we can all agree that Crawford's move to super middleweight is a bold one, and it shows his willingness to take risks and challenge himself against the best. Despite some doubts about his inness after the Madrimov fight, Crawford is confident and ready to take on Canelo. This fight will be a true test of his abilities and will undoubtedly cement his place in boxing history, win or lose. On the other hand, Canelo, with his impressive track record, will not take this fight lightly. He knows that Crawford is a formidable opponent, and he will prepare accordingly. He has even appreciated Crawford's skills, seeing how skilled he is and how much of a great fighter he is, all that while slipping in a little ego in it, adding that Crawford will definitely be an easy fight for him. And while some Canelo fans see this as a possible truth, we can't just ignore the skill in Crawford that even Canelo himself sees, and for sure it will definitely not be an easy fight.
For me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money.
Well, if there is one thing we've learned from this, it's that money is power, and I in the world of boxing know the figures are demonstrating this more conclusively than Saul Canelo Alvarez and Alalshikh. Now Alvarez is about to secure a $35 million guarantee to face Edgar Berlanga. A plus 800 underdog. Berlanga odds are so long that even at plus 2,000 he wouldn't be considered a value bet. Canelo's ability to draw in massive amounts of money allows him to take on fights where his win is almost guaranteed, yet he still gets paid as if it's a highly competitive super fight. And you can all guess what this is. And yes, that's power.
If the money is right, I'm in, because, you know, I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he move a lot and the fight is not that great.
On the other hand, Alalshikh, the chairman of Saudi Arabia's General Entertainment Authority, the driving force behind what is now widely referred to as Riyadh season, holds power through his ability to spend enormous amounts of money. He essentially walks around with several books full of blank checks. The Saudi government is willing to overpay to ensure the fights Allalshikh wants to see happen come to fruition. Fighter promoters, broadcasters, and media personnel across the sport are eager to be part of his plan to offer one of those blank checks to Alvarez in order to get him in the ring with Terence Crawford, who was recently named an ambassador for Riyadh season.
The type of fight Terence Crawford is different. 168, but like I say, nobody's gonna give me credit for that.
This scenario involves a man, for whom money is no object, trying to find the price at which he can secure a fight with another man, for whom money, while not entirely irrelevant, is certainly less of a worrying than it used to be. However, an interesting twist has emerged as the two most powerful men in boxing find themselves at odds with each other. They've inadvertently stumbled into a direct competition, and Alalshikh may have overstepped by daring to challenge Alvarez publicly.
Left hand gets in. Fights drought.
Of Saudi money has made it possible for UFC 306 to be planned at the Sphere in Las Vegas on September 14th, with Riyadh season sponsoring the mixed martial arts pay-per-view event. Coincidentally, on the same date about 2 miles away at the T-Mobile Arena, Alvarez will be fighting Berlanga, also on pay-per-view. This sets the stage for a direct competition between the big events. The extent of this competition remains unclear. It's often said that there is around a 5% overlap between boxing and MMA fans, though this number is not verified. While it might seem quite tiny, a 5% change can matter. For instance, if a pay-per-view event plans to sell 500 kppvs, a 5% reduction means a loss of 25,000 viewers, which is not trivial as a result. UFC and PBC find themselves as rivals on September 14th. Alalshikh, who has so far avoided taking shots at boxes and has campaigned for unity and collaboration in the sport, is now starting to sound like a traditional boxing promoter positioning Canelo as an adversary, and his words to ESPN about Canelo are particularly interesting, with him saying "we will eat him" coming from the mouths of most promoters. That would be an unremarkable statement, however, coming from this promoter, whom some view as the man to heal all of boxing's Shing's wounds. Rooting for boxing's flagship hero to fail is a choice.
I don't think Terence Crawford can figure it out, but he surprised me and I think everyone in the boxing world how good he is, what he did to Errol Spence. And you're like, well, if he did that to Errol Spence and nobody thought that shit was going to happen, he could potentially maybe do something to Canelo, and not taking anything away from.
Especially when Alalshikh has been so open about his desire to convince that flagship superstar to work with him next and to make a fight that Alvarez has been constantly dismissive of. To this point, there are to be several fights to get through before Alvarez versus Crawford can possibly become a fact. At first, Crawford had to win this past Saturday, which he did now. Canelo has to win September 14th against Berlanga, and Canelo versus Turkey has to shake out in a way that doesn't snuff out talks. Then an Alvarez-Crawford fight can be discussed.
Allalshikh playing games. You got somebody ask Allalshikh, is this happening?
Although the two fighters are similar ages, they're at very different points in their lives in terms of motivation. Crawford locked in a 3-way battle with Alexander Usyk for respect as the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world. He still has ambitions. He shouldn't need to prove anything more, but he carries himself as if some of his most major accomplishments and corresponding major paydays are still in front of him. He badly wants to fight Canelo because the 168-pound champ is the ultimate challenge for a man just now moving up to 154, and because it would come with about 10 fights worth of cash all at once.
Forward, guy will win. Good luck, guys.
But Alvarez sure seems to have reached a point in his career where adding to his legacy does not motivate him. Before choosing Edgar Berlanga, he fought Haim Monja, Charlo John Ryder, and retirement-ready Gennady Golovkin. If you're not a little old, a little undersized, made to order with a one-dimensional style, or all of the above, sorry, but you're probably not a fit for what Canelo wants to do from here on out. He is ready to for maximum reward as long as he still gets a high reward at minimum risk. He has made it clearly clear that David Benavidez, the sort of challenge he would likely have leapt at in his 20s, is wasting his time calling him out, while Alalshikh may wave enough money at him to change his mind about Crawford. So far, Alvarez has stated that he feels taking on someone Crawford's size is a reputational no-win.
#1, baby! #1, baby!
PPV.com Jim Lampley summed it up nicely when speaking to Boxing Scenes by Lance Pugin this week. At the end of the day, it's up to Canelo to do me. Terence Crawford is the no. 1 pound for a pound fighter in the world, but Canelo is the no. $1 for a doll fighter, which is most important. You have arguably the best performer in the sport, probably the biggest attraction in the sport, and inarguably the most well-funded promoter in the sport. 3 totally dominant forces, in their own respective ways, are pulling them toward this fascinating judge position. It's happening as Crawford prepares to enter the ring this weekend, as Alalshikh is promoting his first card in America, and as Alvarez is in training for a fight that Alalshikh aims to devour in some figurative way. There's an obvious complexity to the situation. Crawford, with his impeccable record and relentless drive, stands at a critical moment in his career. His motivation to fight Canelo isn't just about the challenge. It's about the monumental payday, the historical importance of defeating a boxer of Canelo's caliber. Crawford's career has been built on taking the toughest fights and proving himself repeatedly, and this potential match with Canelo marks the pinnacle of that journey. On the flip side, Canelo's career strategy looks more calculated. He's at a stage where his choices reflect a balance between risk and reward. Charlo Ryder Golovkin suggests a pattern. These fighters, while talented, were strategically chosen. They offered challenges that were manageable, ensuring Canelo's continued dominance without jeopardizing his standing. The decision to fight Bonga fits this trend. It's a high-reward, low-risk scenario that guarantees financial gain and continues his winning streak. Alalshikh's participation adds another layer of intrigue. His approach, putting substantial financial weight behind his desires, has shaken the boxing landscape. His statements about eating Alvarez are more than just promotional bluster. They signify a shift in his strategy by positioning himself in direct competition with Alvarez. He's not just a marketer, he's a disruptor. His financial backing means he can make offers that are tough to refuse, even for a seasoned fighter like Canelo. The UFC 306 sponsorship on the same night as Alvarez's fight is a bold move, a clear message that Alec is ready to go head-to-head with the sport's biggest names.
Allalshikh say that he sent you an offer, possibly to face Crawford for coming up here. Is that true, or what happened with that?
No, I don't have any offer.
Well, with that, we do know that we'll see Canelo fighting Crawford soon, and this fact has brought around a lot of reactions. Eddie Hearn has a strong opinion about the possible fight between Terence Crawford and Saul Canelo Alvarez. Hearn thinks Crawford won't beat Canelo because of the weight difference. He's not just talking about 168 pounds. He's talking about a guy who will be 185 pounds in the ring. It's a strange fight, but sometimes these dream fights get made. Hearn isn't sure this fight will get made, though he doesn't think Canelo is eager for this meeting. Canelo probably feels like beating a 147-pound or 154-pound guy won't give him much credit.
For Crawford against Canelo. He started at 135. That was at 154.
Listen, he had trouble against. No, the trouble he had against Madrimov wasn't necessarily because of the size. It was a little bit because of.
He might think, what do I get out of beating a guy from those lower weight classes? Hearn suggests that Canelo would take the fight if the business side is right. He thinks Canelo has his ideas about what he should be making for such a fight, and if His Excellency can meet those demands, Canelo will accept. If not, the fight might not happen. Canelo's career includes two major losses, both against fighters who could move well and had enough power to trouble him. Floyd Mayweather crushed Canelo in their fight, which took place early in Canelo's career. Mayweather picked him off and avoided his power shots, showing a level of skill and experience that Canelo had yet to reach. Many claim that Canelo lacked the experience needed for such a big fight at that point in his career.
Doing his best to do just that, but again, especially in the hands. Oh, and a clubbing left hand and a jab from Canelo.
Then there was the fight with Dimitri Bivol outboxing Canelo throughout the match, landing numerous combinations and keeping Canelo at bay. Ball's plan involved backing him up and staying out of range, which proved effective. However, Canelo later admitted he had a hand issue that affected his performance during the fight. Despite this, the rematch never happened, but the fight offered a blueprint for how to beat Canelo. Unlike Canelo, Crawford boasts a perfect record of 40-0 with 31 knockouts. This makes the possible fight even more intriguing, as Canelo would have to be the first man to topple. The undefeated American skepticism about the fight happening comes from these: the weight difference, Canelo's perceived lack of motivation to fight a smaller opponent, and the financial aspects that need to align perfectly. It's not only Hearn that had something to say on this. Evander Holyfield also shared the same view when Evander Holyfield was asked about Terence Crawford moving up 21 pounds to face Saul Canelo Alvarez. He was clearly shocked by the idea. Holyfield, known for his insightful boxing views, expressed skepticism about Crawford's chances against Canelo, predicting that the bigger man would have the upper hand. It's going to be hard for Crawford to beat Canelo, Holyfield said.
Definitely have power, Part of the game is not to get hit by the power, so the thing is that, I knew I eventually had to fight him because he knocked everybody out.
He described Canelo as real basic, but he's a good fighter, showing that while Canelo may not be flashy, his size and skill make him a formidable opponent. Many boxing fans might share Holyfield's feeling after seeing Crawford's performance against Israel Madrimov, which was solid yet competitive. Crawford, who fought at super welterweight, showed skill but faced challenges in that weight class, making Holyfield's predictions seem more possible after the fight. Crawford was asked about the significance of a potential fight with the Canelo. Crawford reacted with a pragmatic attitude, focusing on the financial side. "You know what I say, if the money's right. We've got to fight," he stated.
Is over. This fight is over. Is Canelo Alvarez the fight you want next?
Well, you know what I say. If the money's right, we got to fight. But at the same time, you know, he got to fight, you know, that he's focused on. I'm going to go back to my family. I'm going to relax. I'm going to enjoy this win and enjoy all the accomplishments that I've made in this.
He acknowledged the importance of the Canelo fight but emphasized that his main focus was on his current achievement and spending time with his family. "I'm going to go back to my family and enjoy this win. Enjoy all the successes that I've made in the sport of boxing." Crawford also touched on his ability to fight at 168 pounds, saying that he is physically capable of competing at that weight. "I'm pretty sure he could fight at 168. This guy is big in the minors. He fought at a higher weight than he is now, and he was very, very competitive." Crawford noted despite this he downplayed the immediate importance of the Canelo fight, seeing it as just another milestone in his career. "The Canelo fight is not so important to me, it's just another milestone to greatness, I suppose." And financially, and relating to his words, we could remember Crawford saying that if Canelo didn't work out, then he had his eyes out for Benavidez.
All the criticism you're receiving, they always want you to face somebody.
They're always
talking.
Everybody wants to face me. Everybody is talking about me. That's good.
Speaking to Fight Hype TV after Benavidez stopped Demetrius Andrade last year, Terence Crawford called for a fight between Benavidez and Canelo Alvarez, viewing it as a 50-50 battle. Crawford praised Benavidez' skills, saying he comes in behind his jab, throwing straight punches, going to the body, going up and down. He just needs to tighten up his defense a little, but he's good and ready for Canelo. Crawford stressed the even nature of the fight. "I still got it as a 50-50 fight. Benavidez is good, but Canelo is great. Different styles, different types of fighters. We've just got to see the fight." When asked if he would consider fighting Benavidez if the Canelo clash doesn't happen, Crawford's answer was clear. "Canelo is the only one."
One weight class. 68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your move.
What do you think? Share your ideas below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates. See you in the next one.